Welcome to ATP Report. I'm Barry Nussbaum. Our very special guest today is Brigadier General Reserve of the Israeli Air Force, Yaron Rosen. He's a contributor to ATP Report and a friend of our family, joining us from Israel live on this beautiful evening. General, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Barry.
The narrative of the last several decades, especially since Oslo, is that this is occupied territory is rubbish. That land that is the Jordan Valley and Judea and Samaria that you're discussing, General, from the original plan for the partition of Palestine, that was supposed to be part of Israel. And after the 1948 War of Independence, it was conquered by the Arab Legion, and Jordan just grabbed it illegally. In 1967, when Israel pushed Jordan out, for some reason that became occupied territory, even though it had never been legally part of any country, ever. So the narrative has been created maybe through liberal media over the last 30 years or so, but the truth is it has never been administered and controlled legally by any entity, except the Jewish nation 2,000 years ago.
Yes, that's very correct. I think, the narrative, the word occupied is really a very big mistake that has been told to the world. And to understand this area, I know the war of narratives exists here, and people go all the way back, as you said, thousands of years back. We had it before, and we had it before, and we had it before. I think at the end, I'm very simple about this in my thinking, and in the new era in which we live in, the last hundreds of years we live in, countries that have conquered through war pieces of land, areas in other places, kept these areas. And Israel has gone to war with the Arab countries since its inception. And gladly, Israel won these wars, and we had control over these territories. And sadly, we did not annex these areas before because of political will and maybe other overarching strategic issues which were in this region for many decades now. And I think it's time for Israel to have its final long-lasting borders. This is, I think, the best thing that can happen for the next generations to come. We have to define our final borders.
Are you concerned at all that there's news circulating that President for Life, I call him that because he was elected a long time ago and has canceled every election ever since then, Mahmoud Abbas, has said recently if 1 inch is annexed by Israel, he will dissolve the Palestinian Authority and there will be mass chaos. Are you worried about threats from him?
I'm worried about threats, generally. I think both sides have to be very practical in the way we move forward. I don't think that this strong language on any part, on any side, is very productive to what's happening, and will not contribute to whatever comes out of this. It's just more blood may come out of it on the way to something which both sides long ago understood that they have to sit around the table and make hard decisions.
General, why does Israel need to control, at least for security purposes, the West Bank starting at the Jordan River?
You have the Shiite countries are threatening the whole region. You have the Sunni, moderate Sunni countries, which understand already that working with Israel is productive and does good to the region. And now is the time. Now is the time to make these decisions backed by the moderate Sunni countries and just push forward, because otherwise this stalemate, nothing will move. We have to move forward. Therefore, annexing the border at the first part, the border, I think, Annexing that was supposed to happen a long time ago, and negotiating the parts of Judea and Samaria for the Palestinians and for the Israelis is something for the negotiating table. I think that is something we have to do, and sooner the better.
Do you think Saudi Arabia is at this point backing the plan? I think they're the major player on the Sunni side.
I think they are. I think they are backing it, and also the GCC states, not only the Saudi Arabians. And I think Jordan understands this as well, even though the rhetoric is a little bit different. Jordan has its claims on Jerusalem and the holy places in Jerusalem, but it has no claim on Judea and Samaria. It's just part of the rhetoric, which is over the table, the overt one, over the table. That's the old rhetoric. That's what we're hearing. But the real thing that's going on under the table is we have to move on and finish this thing and go to the next phase of our relationship with the Palestinian people.
Well, we're going to know in the coming months whether it works or not. The new government in Israel that's being formed between Netanyahu and what's left of the blue and white party under Benny Gantz has said that in July, not too long from now, the annexation will go forward. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, we sure will. And I hope that Route 6, as you said, will stay open, because in Israel, everything affects everything.
Right.
So hopefully, yes.
Special thank you today to ATP good friend and contributor, General Yaron Rosen from Israel's Air Force, now in the reserves. We really appreciate your political insight today. Thanks so much for joining us on ATP Report. Remember, you can always subscribe on your cell phone by sending the message TRUTH, T-R-U-T-H, and send it to 88202. When you push send, you'll immediately, in the United States at least, be subscribed to our free text message service. You'll never miss one of these episodes. It's always free, and it'll take you about 5 seconds. For ATP Report, I'm Barry Nussbaum.